Hi, I'm Mina Salami, Head of Strategic Partnerships at Rise Interactive, and I'm sitting here in our cozy virtual living room with Rachel Turco, our Agency Development Manager at Google. Rachel, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Mina. Thanks so much for having me. Always great to talk to you.
You too. So, as you're aware, obviously Rise leverages all of Google's vast product suite. So we wanted to make sure that we sat down with you and get your insights to help our clients get a better idea about what to prioritize in their digital marketing efforts. And I know you and I specifically have spent a lot of time this past year working together so that, our media teams as well as our clients get the most out of our partnership benefits that we have with Google as a premier partner. So beyond that, I'm excited to chat to you today about what happened this past year, and then more importantly, what's coming in 2023.
Me too. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm sure you can agree the last few years have felt a bit like a roller coaster. But I like to think as digital marketers, this isn't anything too new for us. Digital marketing has honestly been in a constant state of change since it began. So the key here is really finding the right partners to ride the roller coaster with. Rise Interactive has been one of those key partners for Google over the past few years. Like you mentioned, Rise holds our Premier Partner Badge, which is no easy feat. The badge is awarded to Google's top 3% of companies in the US after evaluating a bunch of factors, some of which are client growth, client retention, certifications, and a few more. And this partnership has really allowed our teams to collaborate closely and drive a lot of mutual success.
Yeah, I obviously I couldn't agree more. And before we get into what Google has in store for us in 2023, let's look back at 2022. So I know last year enabled us to get some practice and sneak peeks of what's to come. So can you highlight some of the big growth areas in Google's ad space in 2022?
Absolutely. I think there's a ton, but if I were to choose two, it would probably be automation and video on TV screens. So first, we know there's a lot of opportunity to drive efficiency and effectiveness with our machine learning capabilities. Mm-hmm. In 2022, we released our cross-platform campaign type. You might have heard of it, called Performance Max. So this was really designed for our performance marketers to drive performance across all of Google properties to make sure they're not missing any valuable customers and maximize that performance across the whole platform. And we've done a few studies since we've launched the new campaign type, and we've seen some really great performance. On average, customers will see a 13% total increase in incremental conversions at a similar cost per action when using PMax.
Yeah, and those are some great results. I know we've also really leaned into Google's platform automation this past year, just to kind of have that early adoption, increased adoption with our clients to get them ready for what's to come. So, and knowing that Google keeps getting bigger and, consumers keep interacting with media in so many different ways, that we really felt that products like Performance Max kind of took the guesswork out of deciding which of the Google products to really put your next marketing dollars within. So that was kind of great.
Absolutely. And I think one of the also benefits of Performance Max is that digital marketers like us can be a lot more strategic instead of more tactical in our thinking, which presents a lot of great opportunities for growth. And then going back to the second major shift that I had mentioned earlier, we saw that consumers are viewing their media completely differently. Mm-hmm. TV screens is YouTube's fastest growing surface for organic watch time. On average, viewers watch a daily average of over 700 million hours of YouTube content on TV devices, which is pretty shocking.
Yeah, and we've probably contributed a lot to that.
I know, I definitely do. I recently did a home renovation, and I was on YouTube constantly trying to figure out how to do everything that I didn't know how to do. And I'm sure a lot of people have experienced the same. It's a trend that we saw increase during the pandemic, but one we don't expect to slow down anytime soon. The reason for this is YouTube on TV is really the only streaming platform that can offer that TV experience, things like reach, co-viewing, and that big screen impact. Mm-hmm. But it also has those made for digital innovations that only Google can provide. So brands are realizing this means you really get the best of both, and with even better results and measurement capabilities.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of the conversations we've been having is seeing how content consumption has grown on mobile. But I think it's also very important to note, and especially for brands to understand, is that TV screens are actually also growing in terms of content consumption, especially with apps and YouTube being a big player within that space. I know at Rise we have a lot of different types of clients, but lead gen, e-commerce, B2B are some of the few that we have. And so can you highlight a little bit for that audience? How can YouTube CTV, as well as some of the automation products like Performance Max, help them essentially reach their audiences more effectively and be better marketers?
It's a great question. I think one every marketer is trying to tackle right now. Audience strategy is really key, and it seems like today we have really endless entertainment options. The media environment and consumers' attention is a lot more fragmented than it ever has been. When it comes to YouTube connected TV, our reach is massive, with 100 million people watching on a TV screen each month in the US. So honestly, we can put together a winning strategy for any target audience, but there are three that I think are important to highlight. First is YouTube can reach broad and hard to reach audiences. So like I said, we have massive reach with 2 billion logged in users visiting YouTube each month. And we also have those light TV viewers. So 91% of light TV viewers are on YouTube, those cord cutters that you hear about.
Yeah.
Second is the highly engaged audiences. So we're seeing people watch longer form content on YouTube. So they're watching for longer periods of time than ever before. And it's about 20% longer than the videos they view on desktop and mobile. Lastly is not really a surprise. We definitely skew younger on YouTube, and it reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds in an average week than all cable TV networks combined, which is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, and some of those stats make sense. Obviously, when you're on a TV screen, you're going to be watching longer. I know.
Absolutely. And we're seeing a growth in things like even watching full-length feature films on YouTube, and that wasn't something that was happening before. So definitely a highly engaged audience. And then pivoting over to our performance solution, Performance Max, that we had mentioned, this campaign type is designed to drive action. So whether that be driving online sales, generating leads, driving offline sales, the strategy will utilize high intent audiences. So we have a ton of signals that can help determine at what point in their purchasing or research journey the consumer is in. And then PMax will use a new feature called audience signals, which is really built to help advertisers speed up the campaign learning process and steer automation with the best of Google's automated targeting technology.
Honestly, it's great to hear that even within automation, you have that audience first viewpoint. And looking at YouTube specifically, I know that can be kind of intimidating for some marketers, given the perceived creative lift. And we have our own creative team at Rise that help some clients with that. But we also know that Google has some products and offerings that enables brands. So can you talk a little bit about those?
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, it's definitely a key theme that we see at Google. I specialize in working with performance advertisers, and that's one of the key roadblocks that I see advertisers have in this space when it comes to getting on YouTube. But want to emphasize the importance of being present versus having the most highly produced video asset. But there are a number of offerings that we have at Google to help quickly and easily get YouTube campaigns going. So the most turnkey would be video creation in Google Ads. This is a completely free self-service ad creation tool that allows advertisers to create a video ad directly in Google Ads using some really, really engaging templates. We also have exclusive offerings for our top partners like Rise Interactive and their customers. So what this looks like is we have in-house production services who can help create, edit, or review creative assets for a low minimum investment. And alternatively, we can also connect you with some of our verified creative partners that can help with all aspects of video creation.
Well, that's great. I mean, those are so many different options that marketers can take advantage of. And I think my ears perked up when you said free. So again, I think creative as a barrier should really not be too much of an issue when we look at these various opportunities. So I know that we talked a little bit about 2022. It sounds like Google had a big year with automation and video. So let's chat about 2023, because I think that's what everyone's listening for and waiting for. So what are some of your biggest bets?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about 2023. There's definitely a lot going on, but I would say there's 3 key areas I'd consider Google's big bets for next year: automation, privacy, and video. First, automation is at the center of everything we do at Google. We continue to up-level our automated bid strategies to drive towards business outcomes instead of simply media KPIs. And we can do this by pairing machine learning with your agency and your strategic input based on really in-depth knowledge of your business. And then we can optimize toward things like volume, efficiency, profit, or lifetime value.
Yeah, and I think what's key here for marketers to understand when we look at automation is that obviously when our team uses tools like Performance Max, it enhances our ability. It allows our media teams to be able to not maybe spend as much time doing some of the more manual work, but really the strategy. So it does still continue to be automated, but with that strategic overlay.
Absolutely. There isn't a ton of value in just sitting hands on keyboard and placing bids for certain keywords anymore. We know that automation is much more effective and efficient at doing that, and there's things we can shift our time to focus on. The second that I mentioned is privacy, which I know is a really hot topic. Our strategy really rests on 3 pillars: first-party data solutions and infrastructure, machine learning, and then creating those new privacy-preserving technologies, one of which is enhanced conversions that's already been released, but we'll definitely have more to come. And then finally, we previously discussed video. That will continue to be at the forefront next year. There's a lot of increased appetite in short form content, so we're investing in our YouTube Shorts product. And then we'll also continue to innovate in new solutions for shoppable YouTube experiences, and of course, the rise of connected TV on YouTube.
Be remiss not to call out privacy, and I think that's been a key element on every platform, agency, marketer's mind, and Rise has been leaning in a lot there to also make sure that we're proactively assisting our clients, as well as keeping the consumer's privacy in mind. But given Google has previously delayed the deprecation of the cookie, what do you recommend as steps right now that advertisers can take to prepare?
Yeah, I definitely hear the market this question a lot, and I want to emphasize that there's a lot you can do today before that even happens. So again, in the concept of 3s, we created a 3-step framework to help advertisers build an actual plan. So you think of it as build, measure, and activate. So building is really just creating that direct relationship with your customers based on responsibly gathered first-party data. So first, collecting and organizing that data, and then linking it into Google Ads and measurement tools to optimize performance. If that's something you haven't done, I'd recommend getting on that very soon. Second is measure. So using solutions like site-wide tagging that can set first-party cookies up for measuring conversions. And then we also encourage advertisers to get started with Google Analytics 4, which will be the future source of truth. And lastly is activate. So drive those customer objectives by keeping your ads relevant with machine learning and automation.
It's almost like you're setting me up for some of my questions. Maybe it's just because we're very on par. GA4, Google Analytics 4. So we're getting a lot of questions about this as well from our clients. And some of those include how will audiences change? What should we be preparing for? So what are some of your viewpoints on those and maybe some answers that you can provide on that?
Sure. So we do recommend getting started with Google Analytics 4 properties today or as soon as humanly possible. What this means in actuality is setting up a dual tagging solution. So creating a new set of properties and updating your analytics tag to collect data in this new data model that GA4 will be using. We do recommend that you keep your existing analytics implementation and continue to use this as your source of truth while we get this all up and running. The reason for this is Google Analytics 4 properties will eventually become the source of truth in the future in July 2023, which isn't that far away. It's built with machine learning at its core and will automatically uncover insights from your data that you can use to improve your marketing. So you should begin collecting that data now so your organization can have that historical data, that year-over-year performance that you can compare to once you're ready to fully shift to Google Analytics for as your source of truth.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people may say July is in 6 months and we have a lot of time, but I think just reiterating your point about having that historical data and running the two in parallel is important. And honestly, I know our media technology team has been working with your team to help answer and go through some of these with clients. So, all right, I know Google is predicting 2023 to be another big year of video automation and of course, privacy. Is there anything else that brands should know?
Of course. I wanted to highlight something that I think performance advertisers don't hear about or think about enough. So I'd encourage advertisers to consider Google's influencer marketing solution called YouTube Brand Connect. So we've seen a huge shift in where consumers go for trust. 92% of consumers actually trust creators more than the traditional celebrity endorsements. And about 40% of US consumers trust YouTube creators specifically for brand recommendations. So what YouTube Brand Connect does is it brings YouTube audience insights, measurement, and industry expertise to the influencer marketing space and seamlessly connects brands, creators, and fans together.
Yeah, I think obviously influencer marketing, creator marketing is very key. And I always love to hear from our platform partners about what and how they're really elevating their creator pool to help essentially marketers take advantage of it. So Brand Connect noted, and we should probably keep an eye on that. So again, thank you so much. I think you really laid out some great information, some things that we should all think about, and we're really excited for what else is to come and really pushing the limits with you all. So thanks for bearing with all of my questions today and for a great discussion. I look forward to seeing you in real life, maybe next to a real fireplace. But great to see you again, Rachel. Thanks for sitting down with me today.
Awesome. Thank you, Mina. Looking forward to a really stellar 2023. I think we have a lot to do together and I'm excited.